that they really didn't understand or they forgot, and it's like all of us, our dependency on God. And um, Zachary and I were just reading this morning about the feelings that flow between God and people who where it can, that this is what we want to achieve, is this um, feeling of connectedness with God. So, okay, and we're going to be reading about Joseph of Egypt, his death, some of the prophecies. We'll be talking about the seers, and the oppression that has been in Egypt. And so, this part of the Torah is largely historical, but it has a lot of spiritual insights in it. So, uh, Zachariah, do you have then? Can you just show the first verse? We're going to go to the words of Moroni, chapter 4, or verse 4 of the words of Moroni.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to show that, then, or follow along in your book, those of you who can't see the screen. And
Yeah, I think I got it.
you do. It's perfect. And so what we have here is, so we're going to be talking about the house of Israel, how God is preparing or have prepared and reaching out to, hasn't given up. Um, I read in Isaiah. I'm sorry if I wander, but there's a verse in Isaiah I thought was really profound. It says, um, how does it go? Um, anyway, it says, "Have I divorced you?" Talking to the house of Israel. Have I divorced you? Where's this bill of divorcement? You know, have I forsaken you? Where's the evidence of that? And so God isn't given up and never will on this house of Israel. So, do we have a volunteer who would like to read these, maybe verse 4, and we'll take comments? All right, thank you, Brian.
Of the hardness of their hearts. Come to me, O ye house of Israel, and great things shall be revealed to you that the Father has reserved for you from the foundation of the world, and have not come to you because of your unbelief. These same feelings were established even before the foundation of the world to interact with the human sensibility, so that the children of men, even without the priesthood of God, can identify in midst of their fleshy nature those good feelings that proceed from God to guide them in the way of justice and charity.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you, Brother Brian. Uh, Zachary, comment. Go ahead, Zachary.
Yeah, so in verse 42, it looks like God already has like a system already in place for those who are not part of his sheep, so that they can find their way to him whenever they get lost. Even though they don't have the priesthood or of God, they can still feel the good feelings and like right from wrong and what justice and charity, even though they don't have the priesthood with them.
Yes. Very good.
You can't put it.
Yes. Well, thank you, Zachary.
It's okay.
You want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
I'll put it.
Yeah, it was interesting to listen to the readings there, because the Lord has all throughout Scripture uh, something that the house of Israel has not sort of fully understood, perhaps all the way through, but the promise is that in the last days there will be those who will convince, and probably the Lord Himself will do this in some other ways, even beyond those things we could imagine that might happen, because the fathers will remember the promises made, or the Israelites will remember the promises made to the fathers. Perhaps that's the best way to put that. That this will happen in the last days, and it is it is a sure promise. So the Lord is using all sorts of um, ways and means to bring that about, that they will remember promises made to their fathers, that they would be blessed in the last days. And I was interested, even reading yesterday in the book of Joshua, the fact that they talk about the children of Israel, and then it struck me that the children of Israel are the children of those that were not worthy at the time to enter into the promised land, and but that uh, would be, and but their children would, and I think Joshua um, was one of those that inherited that promise. Anyway, that's just for my little comment there. Thanks, Brother Bob.
Yeah, well, thank you. Appreciate your comment. Um, before we go on to this verse, Zachary, well, let's go on. Let's do this one Zachary has on here, but then I wanted to go present some other scripture here. So this one is what Sealed Book of Moses, chapter 12, verses 1 to 5, and it's interesting that this is some of the same verses that Zachary and I read this morning. So uh, volunteer to read these 5 verses, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's stop there. I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but reading there's a lot in this reading. Um, do you have any comments there about this? Anyone so far? Um, I just wondered, as I was thinking, do you do you see possibility of Australia being featured here in any way? This far country,
Yeah, well,
and
Well,
I don't know.
beyond the
no,
sea.
Yeah, well, that could be a possibility.
yeah, well,
I didn't think of that.
yeah, no, I thought when I read it, Brother Bob, I
Yep,
thought of the far country was
yep.
from Jerusalem to the
Brazil.
United
Yeah,
States,
yeah,
or the Americas,
I think
south
so.
and north.
I think so, but I think it goes beyond there. Wherever Ephraim settled,
Yeah,
I think what we're going to see. The house of Ephraim is is important here, and it went beyond. It went really all over the world, and
yeah,
so and you affiliate with the center stake of Zion, and so
yeah.
um, and this is one of Zion's outposts. I'm sure Zion is Australia is definitely um,
I
and
hadn't
I
thought
a
of
hadn't
that.
part
thought.
of the plan.
Yeah, we
um,
hadn't thought of that.
yeah, I've got to read. We got to read the verse in Isaiah, um, and since I'm still reading through Isaiah and studying it, you're going to get a few references from Isaiah because that's what I'm reading. Um, I'd like to. I don't know if you want to look it up in your Bible, but I'll just read it. This is Isaiah chapter 48, verse 6. And it says, this is part of what Nephi quoted in the Book of Mormon as well. But just there's a this particular verse was interesting. Thou hast heard, see all this, and will not ye declare it? Have I shown thee new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou didst not know them? And so we're talking about being freed from the hidden darkness, and captivity, and and even in the Bible, the Lord is Isaiah is prophesying, regarding the restoration of the house of Israel, and so I found that to be really interesting. Um, and I'll read one more verse. This is chapter 48, verse 10 of Isaiah. Behold, I have refined thee, not with silver, I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. And so, by the things that they suffer, and so they definitely suffered in Egypt in the latter part, of course, for all those years. And the Lord is trying to free them from the bondage. Uh, okay, so
I have a little comment.
Yes, Zachary.
So back where you're saying like about like the faraway country, possibly being Australia, a thought came to mind that Mauricio said once that the verses in the scriptures, they can mean multiple things, or be talking about multiple things. So whereas like the faraway country, most of us um, think of that as like the Nephites in or in the Americas, or maybe the refuge in Brazil. But you also said that other verse in Isaiah. There are things that like we don't know, or things that are to be revealed. So maybe there is a possibility that like God has something to reveal with like maybe the Aboriginals, or like
Yeah, I thought
somewhere in
that.
Australia, maybe somewhere else in the Pacific. Who knows? Maybe we could find out more.
Yeah.
Put your hand.
Yeah. Well, you can.
Yeah.
The hand
Yeah.
up. Yeah, sorry. We go.
Yeah.
Was there a comment, Brian? Go ahead.
Yes, I've got another comment here because I don't watch very much TV, but I do like to catch up with the news. And it's interesting that there's been a lot of changes in the Australian Aborigine um, influence within the government and lots of things. And I saw one the other day that really caught my mind. It was an interview with one of the elders, and he was, speaking quite authoritatively, and he said about the fact that they are the original um, ones of the particular country of Australia, and that all the others came in usually from either England or other places, but they were not natural to Australia. But the Australians, those that was second or third generation, we thought that we had it all because we've been there a long time, but they were there, and he said it in words like this: that we were here first, you are um, coming into our country, not the other way round. And so that thought is now becoming quite an amazing thing that I observe here in Australia, at least among the Aborigine community. And I recognise that, and in some ways they are right. Um, but it's just been, sort of coming for a long time. Anyway, that's the end of my comment, but it is something changing within our communities.
Well, the reason I made that comment was just a thought that Ephraim has extended all over the world, and we're going to find evidences of this house of Israel through Ephraim everywhere.
Yeah.
Melba, you have a comment?
Yes, I don't want to get off subject, but speaking of the Aboriginals taking their place in Australia, when I was in grade school, I still remember for social studies the teacher saying that we were going to study about the new Australians. And of course, in Australia, the new Australians are those people who have recently immigrated to Australia, even if that was back in the 1950s, it's even more so now. But we learned a really important lesson from that teacher. He said, well, you probably think that's the people moving in now, but we are the new Australians. And so he was bringing home the point that we had basically taken over the country, and that the original Australians, of course, the Aboriginals, were the Australians, the old Australians, and all of us white people and Europeans were the new Australians. But anyway, it's just that came to my memory, and it is something that we sometimes forget, that there are those original peoples that were in probably most lands that were the original owners of the lands, and we're the ones that came and took it over. Thanks.
Yeah, true. A good comment, that. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go on. Let's finish our reading here.
Sorry, Brother Bob. I was going to make a comment if I could.
Go ahead. Yes.
I should have got in a lot earlier, because this is going back when I was just searching for the scriptures that were talking about it. But this is when we were talking about the Spirit in the first reading, where we're recognising that the returning to the things that we had before. And it reminded me of that verse where it says there's many of them in the scriptures, but it's turning the hearts back to the fathers and the fathers to the children. And I was wondering whether that was some sort of link between what is happening in our day now, because we're looking back at what our fathers did in those times with the ordinances and and all the covenants that were made at that time, and we're being reminded that. And one that stood out was D&C 2:2 in the LDS. I haven't got the RLDS version, but it says, "He shall plant the hearts of the children, the promises made to the fathers, and the hearts of the children shall turn to their fathers." So whether that was what it meant, I was just considering that as maybe what the Lord was sort of pointing at there, that when we receive the more things of knowledge, that we go back and remember those covenants that were made, and strengthen that with the fathers, and we are the children.
Yeah, well, Malachi, I'm just looking at it here. Malachi says something similar, doesn't it? The last verse of Malachi in chapter 4, in verse 6, it says, "And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers." The end bit there is a little different. It says, "Lest I come and smite the earth with a curse." And Moroni is evidently quoting that too in history of the church. But anyway,
and it's also in the Book of Mormon.
In the Book of Mormon. But anyway, it's interesting to contemplate that. Thank you.
Anyway,
okay.
sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. We have about 20 minutes left on our class time.
Oh no,
27 minutes. Yeah, sorry.
Well, so this is a discussion class,
Yes,
of course.
It is. Yeah.
I think that was in my mind, that's the intent of the purpose of having a Torah study.
Yeah.
Is not maybe listen to a lecture as much, but to discuss the word, what it actually says, read it, and see how it relates to our scriptures. And this is good to bring in other references.
Yeah.
The main point being the house of Israel is God's vehicle to transform the world and to bring his kingdom. And the Lord, it's not that like the Lord has forgotten all the other peoples of the world. It's just that there has to be a people ready to receive Jesus Christ, which our sealed book emphasizes. And he chose this group of people. And so amen to that. And it's exciting with all the things that we're learning that things are coming together, and we're at the verge of great things, and hopefully it'll all come together soon. So, well, I guess we'll go on to the next verse here. Are you reading, Brother Darren? Is it number 3?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
continue. Yeah,
I'll just pause for a minute at the end of 3 to see if there's any comments.
Okay, sure. And the God of my fathers said unto me, Joseph, a chosen seer, will I raise up out of the fruit of thy loins, and he shall be highly esteemed. And I will command him to do a work for the fruit of thy loins, for whatsoever shall accept his words and be baptized because of them shall be numbered as a part of the house of Ephraim, whom I have separated among his brothers. Therefore, a descendant of Joseph, the brother of Manasseh, to whom he shall be taken first to this place far beyond the great waters, and shall be a remnant branch of the house of Jacob, and he will bring you to know the covenants which I made with your fathers, and he shall perform whatever work I command him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so we see the second invitation in that, do we not?
Yes. Most
And
definitely.
so, Brother Zachary?
Yeah. So this first part, he shall be highly esteemed, and he will command to do a work.
That'd be Joseph Smith.
Is that to be, or has that already happened?
A chosen seer. Well, this was, I think, perhaps that first part's talking into Moses, in my mind, and I mean, of all the prophets in the Book of Mormon, I mean, in the Bible, I think Moses stands out as at the top, being, highly esteemed for his work. Although Moses himself said that the people, the Israelites, disregarded him, did not respect him. That's why Aaron was the spokesman. But looking back, they even call him the great Moses because of all the things that he did for the Lord. Anyone else have a comment to Zachary's question?
I don't know. I was looking at it and I was thinking, first off, I was thinking of Joseph Smith Jr., but yeah, I know that later on it says that he says there'll be raise up another Moses like unto me. And, sometimes I've thought of that as being Brother Mauricio, but it could mean something. Something else.
I've got no definites on that, Brother Bob. I sort of thought at one stage, similar to Darren, even though we didn't talk about that it may have been Joseph Smith Jr. But however, the job that's left to be done will be someone which perhaps Mauricio is part of at the moment. And but anyway. I'm afraid my definites on that are a little bit uncertain.
Okay, well, just keep in mind what Zachary said. There's the prophecies, especially, are multi. Oh, what's the word? Big,
multi-use,
more than one things.
Yeah.
So, but God is doing a great work, and we all respect and highly regard Brother Mauricio today, although even he gives us accounts at times where uh, he's not regarded, uh, he's disrespected in certain ways, similar to what Moses experienced.
Yeah.
And Mo, um, Mauricio lost his spokesman, did he not? You know, with the passing of Joseph Frederick Smith. So uh, anyway, so yeah, so the seer is talking about the seer, and it's really interesting what a seer can do. I think we're going to read this in perhaps somewhere the next verse or so. So let's go on unless there's further comments. Uh,
Okay. Do you want me to?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, if you want.
okay.
Would you like that I read
Yes,
5?
yes,
Yep.
yes,
Okay.
please.
Therefore, the fruit of thy
I think
loins.
it's four.
Sorry,
Four.
is it 4 that I'm
Yeah.
on? Yeah. Okay. And lo, I the Lord will make him great, and he shall be in my sight like Moses, and his name shall be known among all nations, for he shall do my work. Yea, truly he will be like Moses, which I said I would raise up to deliver my people, O house of Israel, from the oppression like the slaves. For behold, I will raise up a seer to deliver my people out of the land of Egypt, and he shall be called by the name of Moses, and by that name his brethren shall know that he belongeth unto the house of Israel. So that's pretty definite there, isn't it?
Yeah, that verse is particularly.
Yeah, it
All
took all
right.
my
Any further
ifs and
comments?
buts around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And can I just make a comment
Oh,
quickly?
yes.
Because I noticed in this verse that Dad was talking about he shall be highly esteemed among all nations and that, and I was thinking, well, possibly Joseph Smith is a very well-known seer that was before and is still talked about today. So, is that a possibility? I was wondering whether that could be.
Well, especially in the eyes of the LDS restoration groups,
Yeah,
he's Joseph Smith Jr. is highly esteemed. But you go outside that group, he's not.
I
Yeah,
see. Yeah,
So I don't know. I mean, either way, but I think overall Moses, the biblical Moses, is probably high esteemed even in the Arab countries because he was.
yeah,
So anyway,
yeah.
that's just a comment. Yeah.
Just another comment there too, Bob, that I note is that the Lord, when He speaks to the house of Israel through, perhaps Moses and others, He sort of makes it known that they are to be remembering what the Lord God did for them. Always, he reminds them, I am the one who brought you out
yes,
of
yeah,
slavery, out of Egypt, out of bondage.
yeah,
And so um, I guess that, that's part of what the Lord is wanting. And one day they will be reminded and remember. I guess that will happen in times yet to come.
Mhm. And then Mauricio makes a comment, or he says, speaking of him as a Moses, um, that he's bringing the people of the restoration out of darkness and obscurity, as he's bringing the church out of darkness and obscurity, with knowledge of the covenants and the true ordinances and so on. So
Yeah.
we're in bondage.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I can
Okay.
see that.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's go on.
Hey, is this verse 5 next to be read?
Yes.
Okay. Therefore, the fruit of thy loins shall write a record as soon as his offspring obtain this land beyond the sea. And the fruit of the loins of Judah shall also write a record. And that which is written by the fruit of thy loins in this far country, and that which is written by the fruit of the loins of Judah, shall grow together, each in his own nation, for the purpose of confounding false doctrines, and for appeasing contentions, and establishing peace between the fruit of thy loins and the house of Jacob in the last days. When, then, the words of these two records are brought to the notice of their fathers, and to the knowledge of my covenants which I made with the house of Israel, saith the Lord. That's interesting too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Zachary, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting information in this verse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
So, the loins of Judah, I believe that would be Israel, or like the Bible, basically. And then I believe the faraway country, I believe that might be Ephraim, right? From if I can remember correctly.
Well, Ephraim was taken into many countries, so yes,
Okay.
and the
Yeah,
Lord was working through Ephraim as the as the priesthood.
yeah, I know it does go a bit more in depth in the parable of the olive tree in the book of Jacob and the book of Mormon, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
Yeah. And then also one other thing that I was wondering, um, the house of Jacob, it the way it is written, it makes it sound like the house of Judah or and the faraway branch are separate from the house of Jacob. Is that like the Jews in Israel, or
Well, I suppose that's kind of a complicated thing that the house of Jacob, of course, was the father of the 12 tribes. Yet, I don't, the Lord, when the Lord refers to it, the house of Israel, and here he's referred to it as the house of Jacob, or I don't know if it's really interchangeable or the Lord's saying something to us here. Um, I wish I knew more about it, but of course, Israel, Jacob's name was changed to Israel.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's more to the understanding there. But the 12 tribes included, all the 12 tribes, including uh, Ephraim, through the sense that Ephraim was the son of Joseph, who was part of the 12 tribes. And so, really, if you count Joseph and Ephraim and Manasseh, you come up with 14,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Tribes. And so, but um, um, so I exactly I don't know. We need a good, your mind is think it through, and so when you figure it out,
Yeah.
let us know.
Okay. It is indeed. Yeah.
Okay. Well, any other comments there? Thank you, Zachary, for that.
Yeah.
Um, I don't find the verse that we read this morning, Zachary and I read, but one of the verses here in this chapter of the sealed book talked about the seers being able to interpret the messages of the prophets, the hidden messages of the prophets. And so that was amazing thing about and that's what Mauricio's doing in how he explained to us that even the sealed book, that which we have in our hands, if it's read in Portuguese and read backwards, it sounds like an expression in Hebrew. And so that he said only the seers will be able to recognize that and pick that up from one generation to another, that the words of the prophets are there, but they're hidden, and that the seers can explain that. And so it's amazing in that regard. So
Wow.
oh wow. Um,
It is. Wow. That is
Yeah.
amazing.
we haven't. What time? We're nearing our end.
We've
Are
got
there things that you
11
want to
minutes
see?
gone by our
Yeah,
screen.
it's
Yeah.
just over
I
10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This next section is a bit long, so I'm not sure if we'll make it
Yeah.
through that.
Well, can I just introduce the next section? Unless,
Yep.
are there things that you need to do, Darren or Brian, before we end?
There's nothing really. We've got anything urgent here.
No. We,
Okay.
Yeah. So we
Okay.
can leave the time to you
Yep.
if you want, Brother Bob. Yes.
Well, I'd like to explain something in chapters. We won't start it, but in chapter 48, let's see, I've lost the reference now, but it talks about Shiloh.
Oh, yes.
this is Isaiah, is that?
No, this is 48 Genesis
Oh,
in the
Genesis
King
48.
James,
Sorry.
in
Yep.
the inspired version. I don't know about the King James. Oh, it's in the King
Yep.
James
I've got
too.
48 coming up
But
now.
all right. Anyway, I'm
Genesis.
not finding
Yep.
the reference. It's in there. It talks about Shiloh, and I wanted to read a little bit about Shiloh.
Okay.
That'll be a good thing to end our class today. Um, okay, so if you bear with me, I'll find my notes. Okay, now Shiloh, and this is all gleaned from the Torah. Shiloh is a city in the hill country of Ephraim. Now, how important is that?
Yeah.
And
Oh.
Israel was divided into 12 areas, some of which were on the east side of the River Jordan. But each of the tribes had a physical land area in the land of Israel, the land of Canaan. And Ephraim had a section there, and there was established a city, Shiloh, and that's in Judges chapter 21, verse 19. It served as the first central permanent site or cultic site or religious site for ancient Israel. It housed the tabernacle and the Ark of the Covenant for 350 years during the reign of the judges. Okay, so Shiloh was this place where the tabernacle and the center of worship was. It was a major center for pilgrimage, worship, and the division of the land. So, okay, so now following the conquest of Canaan, Joshua set up the tent of meeting at Shiloh, making it the focal point of the Israelite worship.
Okay.
And let's see if I can get this right. It is where Hannah prayed for a child and dedicated Samuel to the Lord. It is also associated with the annual feast where women of Shiloh danced. That's in Judges. So whatever that is about. But then, okay, here we go. Due to the wickedness of Eli's sons and Israel's disobedience, God allowed the Philistines to capture the Ark of the Covenant, resulting in the destruction of Shiloh.
Oh.
Okay. Jeremiah later referenced this destruction as a warning to Jerusalem. So this is when in the periods of decline. And we know what happened. The Philistines later returned the ark because too many bad things happened when they had it. Remember that story? They said, we don't want it after we got it. Okay. It's chapter 49:10 is the reference to Shiloh. So in Genesis chapter 49:10, it says, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. So, in that sense, it's a reference to the Messiah,
Yeah.
as a title for the Messiah, signifying the one to whom obedience belongs. And so, okay, and so then let's see if that's all I have.
By the way, Brother Bob, that was the same in the King James version too. Just to
Oh,
let you
good.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and so Shiloh was an actual physical place. Um, it's a here's the comment here. It says Shiloh's history represents a shift from a period of divine presence to a period of judgment due to apostasy.
Right.
And so it was taken away. And so Shiloh was destroyed by the Philistines, the Ark of the Covenant. I mean, it must have been a terrible low in the history of the Israelites, because the Ark of the Covenant was gone, and their worship center was destroyed. But then there's this reference. So you understand this reference in Genesis. It says, "Until Shiloh come back."
So it's going to be reestablished. Yeah.
It says that
Okay.
in the field book. It says
So,
Shiloh come or something.
Yeah.
all right. So anyway, that's just a little bit about Shiloh.
Yeah.
So I'm done, and we will conclude this part and turn it back over to you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, Brother Bob. There's certainly a lot
Yeah,
of research we can take over from that. I'm going to do a lot of reading in that verse 49, chapter 49 of Genesis. But I also went to Joshua, and there was a lot of references there to, the children of Israel, and it was like Deuteronomy ends with the death of Moses, and then Joshua takes over. Anyway, thank you, Brother Bob.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
we have a closing hymn, which we might just have time for.
Yeah.
It's Redeemer of Israel, 201 in the Grey Hymnal.
Yeah. All right, I'll share the screen.
Okay.
And I'll just finish this recording.